Hello everyone, let's start with a new chapter, Chief Seattle's speech. As the name says, it is a speech given by Chief Seattle. Now Chief Seattle was a Native American chief, a member of Squamish tribe and a prominent figure among his people. The city of Seattle in the state of Washington in the USA is named after him. Chief Seattle was a leader of Squamish tribe of the Red Indians who lived in the middle of the 19th century. When the governor of Washington sent a land treaty to the Red Indians with a proposal to buy their lands, Chief Seattle, as the leader of the tribe, thought it was his duty to respond to the proposal, even though he knows that he will not be able to deny the white man the land as they are martially too powerful. In his speech, he was not only honest but also very direct in his attack on the white man. Now there are certain points that you need to keep in mind. Number one, nature's role. Now here in the starting of the chapter, Chief Seattle talks about how nature has sympathized with his people, how they all respect nature. See the second point, it says proposal. Now this is the proposal that was sent by Great Chief of Washington. This is the proposal that says that they wishes to buy Chief Seattle's land. See the third point, compared his people with the whites. It means that Red Indians, they are less in number. They are like those trees which are left after a storm. However, the whites are many. They are like the grass that covers the vast prairies. The next point says difference between the God. Here, Chief Seattle mentions that the God of the white man is not the same as theirs, as the white man's God only protects the whites and forsakes the Red Indians. He moreover says that the God of the white men is partial to the Red Indians. Chief Seattle also believes that the Red Indians and the whites are two different races. They can never be brothers. See the next one, sacred ground. Now, Chief Seattle mentions the sacredness that they associate with the ashes of their ancestors, and therefore how they consider their land to be sacred, whereas the whites move away from their father's grave. Now the next point says Red Indians will extinct. It means that here he says that in few decades the Red Indians will face certain kind of extinction, and he also warns that someday or the other the whites too will face the same destiny. At the very beginning of the chapter, Chief Seattle expresses his concern over environmental degradation and its possible impact upon human civilization if we do not take immediate measures. According to him, nature has been a great sympathizer for his native people, and that too for a long time. Nature has given them everything they need to live on this earth. He fears that though this condition seems to be eternal and changeless, it may ultimately change. Human civilization may face great trouble in future if we don't respect environmental values. Then the speaker ascertains his reliability by comparing his words to the stars that never change. So he will not change his stance in response to the government's proposal of a land treaty with the natives. The white chief had arrived with a proposal and the message of friendship from the big chief. Seattle says that it is kind of them to offer the natives their goodwill and friendship, because he knows that the government has no need of the natives' friendship in return. Seattle speaks of the deplorable condition of his people. He remembers that once they had filled the entire country, but now there are only few people left in his tribe. They are on the verge of an extinction. So actually they don't need the vast land anymore. And for this doom of the Red Indians, Seattle mainly accuses the white people's act of forcing their way into the native lands. The white people regard themselves as superior and supreme and do not respect the tribal people's land, rights, and cultural values. Seattle also criticizes the reckless manner of the young men of his own tribe. According to him, the youth should be more sensible and responsible. Seattle says that the great chief has offered to protect the native women, children, and the old men from the attacks of their old outside enemies like Heddas and Shimshians, if they agree to the land treaty. In that case, the great chief would really be their protector, their father. But he doubts if that will ever be possible. According to Seattle, there are so many cultural differences between the white Americans and the native Red Indians that a union or a mutual understanding between the two looks unlikely. After all, they are two distinct races with separate origins and separate destinies. The white people have received all the love and care of God. The tribal people have been deprived of the love, guidance, and protection of God and finally come to their meager existence. The native red people of America live closer to nature than the white people. They love the beautiful aspects of nature and understand the importance of maintaining it. To the tribal people, the ashes of their ancestors are sacred, and they visit their resting ground to show their respect for those. Again, the white people don't seem to love this world anymore after they die, so they never visit their people and places again. But the tribal people never forget this beautiful world that gave them life, and continue to visit their loved ones to guide, console, and comfort them. Seattle even says that the white people's religion, that is Christianity, is written upon stones so that people never forget it. It is not felt by heart. Their religion is somewhat artificial and mechanical, as they have no respect for the environment and for their ancestors. But the native people's religion is the traditions of their ancestors, the dreams of their old men. The chief prepares his people for their impending doom by saying that no one will be spared from the hands of time, death, and decay. Death is a common destiny that the white men too cannot defy. Anyway, Seattle says that he may still agree to the government's proposal, but the natives should be allowed to visit the resting grounds of their ancestors. At last, Chief Seattle wants the great chief at Washington to be just and deal kindly with his people. He believes that death is just a change of worlds and the spirits of the natives will still be there after their death to take revenge if they are treated badly.